Jesus, 28 minutes long.
Life other than boiling the water and shoving it right in. Rose?
Actually, Lorenzo, you're on your own this time.
What the fudge?
Today, guys.
Okay, I'm gonna go over Chef James Makinson's intro, and I'm gonna let you know I'm doing a second order reaction video where I'm gonna be reacting to his reaction of an Epicurious video. I wasn't even sure that these were a thing until I watched some videos talking about second order reactions, and I've seen Chef James Makinson do a bunch of reactions to Uncle Roger Reacts To videos, so I'm sure he's got no problem with me reacting to his reaction. My first reaction video last week was a little bit on the negative side, and I've watched enough of his content to know that I'm going to get a positive video here, that I'll be able to do a positive reaction, because I don't want to do all negative clickbaity style reactions. I want to do more positive reactions than negative ones.
Okie dokie, okie dokie. Thank goodness I'm ambidextrous.
Lorenzo is going to be making carbonara today. I'm curious to see how he's going to make this. This will be interesting. Lorenzo's funny.
Lorenzo's one of my favorite home chefs. Actually, he's my favorite. What do they have him as? I think they have him classified as an intermediate chef, and he is my favorite to watch. He's got a nice personality. He's very bright and adds some good humor to the camera.
Hi, I'm Frank. I'm a professional chef, and these are my $174 pasta carbonara ingredients.
$174 for carbonara. My goodness. You don't even spend that much going to like a Michelin star restaurant to have carbonara. Well, then again, it's a point to make these videos, isn't it? And I bet that the most expensive ingredient, if you look at the list here, or you look at the ingredients, is actually going to be the olive oil. I bet it is. It's either that, or maybe the cheese.
And he's got $174 worth of ingredients, but how many portions can he get out of this? Looks to me like he's got enough for the cheese and oil to probably get 10 to 15 portions, which is going to drastically reduce his portion cost.
Depends. I think it's the olive oil.
Hi, I'm Lorenzo and I'm a home cook. And these are my $10 pasta carbonara ingredients.
Peas? Peas?
Yes, peas. I like peas, not in this, but in stir fries.
Oh, it's always with peas, isn't it? We even saw Gordon Ramsay making his carbonara at home with peas.
Come on. This is bingo. Some fresh peas.
Is this a fifth order reaction video? If there's me plus
This guy.
Like I
other people reacting to clips of
Peas
reactions?
and cream?
That is some cheese.
Yep. That is a big block of cheese.
I was planning on making a homemade Kitara pasta carbonara with a 24-month aged Parmesan cheese. I had some 00 flour and some farm fresh eggs to make my own pasta by hand.
I have never
Okay.
made pasta in my life other than boiling the water and shoving it right in.
If none of you have ever made homemade pasta, it can seem like it may be a little challenging in the beginning, but to be honest, it's actually easier than making bread. I mean, making homemade pasta can be very easy, unless of course you're going to be making a lot. But it's easy, and you will notice a big difference between the quality between dried and fresh.
I had some
And the other thing about making pasta, you got to remember, people have been doing it for thousands of years. So, I mean, ancient people figured it out. It can't be that difficult, right? All it needs is some good practice.
guanciale, which is super fancy bacon, and some premium Parmesan and Pecorino cheese,
Wow, that is... You stinky.
along with a lovely olive oil and an even lovelier bottle of red wine.
Am I putting wine in this?
It was going to be rich, creamy, and absolutely spectacular. With Lorenzo's recipe, I have some ingredients you might find in your pantry or your local grocery store. These may be simple ingredients, but with a little technique and a little chef magic, I can make it beautiful.
Huh? What do you know? It's Jamie's favorite type of pasta.
If I had a guess, this would probably cost around 10 bucks. I'm the one that does the grocery shopping. I know the groceries.
If I had to guess, this would cost about $222. Well, that's a very expensive plate of pasta. This is Frank's recipe book. No GPS whatsoever, no connect the dots, no ABCs.
And sorry to cut you off, James, ha ha ha, but that's very similar to the book Le Repertoire de la Cuisine, which is a chef's cookbook with about, I don't know, 1,000 recipes in it, give or take. And all it is recipes based off of ingredients, not method. So you have to already know how to cook to know what to do with it.
May help though next time to add the instructions for Lorenzo or for somebody else though. This, yes.
Lorenzo, remember,
No.
this pasta
No, he can't give him the instructions, so that's the whole point.
is not all that hard.
Pasta carbonara is a pretty simple dish, but I don't know about this situation.
Worry about your technique. Don't worry about so much the ingredients.
This is the part where I call Rose. Rose? Rose?
Actually, Lorenzo, you're on your own this time.
You're joking.
Rose couldn't make it today, so time to leave the nest, little chickadee.
What the fudge? Yes, let's do it. Yes, let's do it. Okay. I hate you all.
Lorenzo, you can do this. Come on. You've been doing some amazing things on Epicurious, and I think you have this.
The biggest
Lorenzo is one of my favorites, like I said earlier. If he ends up owning a restaurant, I would not be surprised.
challenge right off the bat is homemade spaghetti. I usually just scan it in the grocery. Boop.
I'm gonna have Lorenzo do this granny style. And by granny style, I mean he's gonna make a pile of his flour.
Now we've got Montezuma.
Montezuma. More like Mount Etna or Vesuvius. Both of those are still alive and active. Last year I went to Napoli, and I have to tell you that when you think of Mount Vesuvius, you'd think, okay, it's another volcano. But when you're actually there in Napoli, that's all you see. I mean, it is enormous, and you clearly see Vesuvius. And if that thing were to go today, it's one of the most dangerous volcanoes, I believe, in the world because of the amount of people living so close to it.
He's gonna make a volcano. We're gonna crack our eggs in there, a little bit of salt, and then we're gonna whisk our eggs with a fork. We don't want our volcano erupting.
Volcano save.
Once we get to a point where the eggs aren't gonna run out anymore, we start to bring our flour in, and then we start to knead.
Never done this before, and fairly simple so far.
And we're gonna knead our dough until it's nice and smooth, like my bald head.
That's cute as heck.
Oh, that's funny. It might be as smooth as his head, but it's not going to be as shiny. Sorry, Frank.
When we knead,
The other thing that's important to mention is that you should rest your flour. So you should rest your pasta. If you overwork the gliadinin, which is what gluten forms from under heat, you'll end up with elasticy and chewy pasta.
knead the flour, we're really working the gluten, and the gluten is really tough. And this is why we let the pasta rest for about 20 minutes, so that it's easier to roll out, and we get nice kind of long strands of spaghetti.
Lorenzo did a good job making this pasta. He didn't have much flour left over, and I mention this because in the previous video with Joshua and the lasagna, Vincenzo was critiquing Joshua on his lasagna skills, on the pasta skills, I should say specifically. He did good with the lasagna, but the pasta, the recipe was a little off.
From Lorenzo, I have some peas and Parmesan. When carbonara came across the big ocean, people decided they want to put peas in it. And I'm going to have a little fun with it. I'm going to dehydrate them both. This is going to be the topping for my finished dish. Like a little bit of a garnish, a little bit of sprinkle, a little bit of flair.
If there are any Italians watching, just take into consideration that this is not supposed to be an authentic carbonara. Just keep this in mind. It's for entertainment only.
Basically what it is.
So why do Europeans get so uptight when we change recipes over here? I mean, okay, in school, when we did carbonara in our pasta section, they said, hey, this is a dish that was made in Italy by war brides of American GIs who wanted to be able to give their husbands American bacon and eggs in an Italian way. And I've never really looked it up to see if that was BS or not, but that's the story I'm going with because it sounds cool. But like if you come over to North America, you have a hamburger, for example. And what goes on a hamburger? Anything you want. And when the original German immigrants brought over the Hamburg steak, and there's some cool documentaries about it, where they have the original cast iron cooking thing that did the burgers in a spinny bit. And they served it on toast with no ketchup, and that was a hamburger. And now today you get 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, all on a sesame seed bun. We still call it a hamburger, and nobody's upset that we call it a hamburger. So you tell me right down in the comments below, why do Europeans get so mad when we change recipes?
Dehydrated does is it takes the moisture out of things with a small amount of heat and some fan. And then these puppies are gonna go into my dehydrator. Dehydration takes a while, so that's why we're doing it first. This is gonna be in there about 6 hours.
Jeez.
6 hours. Having a dehydrator at home is a great way on making your own dehydrated products. You can make chips out of it, you can make jerky, you can dehydrate almost anything and everything. Then again, it may be a little expensive unless you're making like a lot of, well, say beef jerky or anything.
I need to roll it out. First off, let me flour my table here. Okay. Ooh, that's a nice little bite it took out of that. Okay. Let's see what to do. Trying to work this. It's a workout. I think this is good. I mean, it is a very thin sheet.
Lorenzo's doing this the old way, by hand. And yeah, you can do it by hand, it's not impossible, but it's going to take a lot of elbow grease to do it, and you will not have as consistent, as a consistent thickness with the pasta. But it's still doable, still functional. If you make the pasta at home and you like making fresh pasta, then you may want to invest in a pasta making machine, because then it will make your life easier.
Pasta.
I agree.
Let's cut these out.
Not much else to
I'm gonna have a
say.
little fun today and play with the whole idea of carbonara. I'm gonna make a carbonara frittata.
A carbonara frittata? Oh, bloody hell no. Just the idea of putting pasta into basically a tortilla. I mean, I have Italian friends, and I have heard of this. Is maybe not the most common thing, but I have heard that some people do it. Well, we'll find out, won't we?
Classically, a frittata is a
I hope this doesn't taste bad.
baked omelet. It's gonna be like carbonara, but
Yeah, why would James automatically say a tortilla? I don't recall hearing Frank mention a tortilla, just a baked omelet. And I know when I've had to do frittatas, I just do like a quiche in a cast iron instead of a pie shell.
in a pie cut slice. Makes sense, right?
Now guys, if this was Spain, we'd be making a tortilla instead of a frittata. And the difference between the two, there is a bit of a difference. A frittata you put in the oven and you bake it basically. I mean, you can still cook it on the stovetop, but it goes in the oven. The tortilla, on the other hand, the Spanish tortilla, you don't put it in the oven. You can cheat if you want, but you don't. You cook it in the pan. And the big thing with the Spanish tortilla is flipping it too. So you have to get the flipping part down, because as we've seen with some people like Adam Ragusa, if you're not very skilled in it, you can make a big mess.
One thing you want to
Yeah, a lot of stuff that James mentions does have a Spanish twist to it, because I believe that's where he's based out of.
make sure when you cook dry pasta, you want the water to be salty, not so salty that it's not edible, but you want it to be sea salty. And I want it to be at a full rolling boil. If it's not boiling, it's going to clump together and stick together. Everybody into the pool.
Here we go, we're using Jamie's favorite type of pasta. Also guys, let me know down below what your favorite type of pasta is, or the specific shape I should say. Let me know down below, or what type of pasta you like the best.
Until
Mine's fusilli.
it comes back to a boil, you got to keep it stirring to keep it separate, and so it doesn't stick to the bottom. This is going to take approximately 10 to 12 minutes.
Okay, may I look? On top of smoky. What the heck? What? I thought I was gonna have a cranker. Oh, I just press it down.
See, this is the old way of making spaghetti, and well, it's more of the rustic way. It's pretty cool using this. I haven't used this actually, and I've never used this. I've used the pasta machines, but doing it this way, it looks pretty cool.
A la chitarra. Okay, I see. I'm just gonna get started.
The chitarra is a contraption that has guitar strings. That's where it gets the idea.
Flour liberally. I mean, I don't know.
And what you're going to do is you're going to take your flat pasta sheet, put it on top, and you get something that looks like a rolling pin, and you push it through.
Okay.
Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Wow! Homemade spaghetti a la Katara. Get out of town. That's awesome! Kadosh, people!
Okay.
Thank you, Katara.
How do you test pasta? You take a piece of pasta and you test it, right? This still has a little bit of a white ring in it. It's a little before al dente, but I'm okay with that because the pasta's going to sit for a minute and it's going to continue to cook.
For me personally, I like my pasta al dente. It depends on everyone. Not everybody likes their pasta al dente. Some people like it even a little less done, and others like it done, like overcooked. But if you're going to be making like a pasta salad, it needs to be overcooked. Otherwise, you're going to have like little nuggets. So when you bite into the pasta, it's going to be, you know, a little crunchy, and you don't want that.
So another way is, they say, by throwing it against your fridge. More with spaghetti, not so much with penne.
All the Italians out there, don't get upset with me. Normally you don't want to put oil on pasta because the sauce won't stick. But I'm not saucing this pasta. I'm making it into a frittata, so I'm not worried about the oil.
Pasta in a frittata. If there are any Italians watching, please, is it really common? I don't know. I mean, I can see the reason behind like leftovers. This, yes. I don't know. It's just, to me, it's a little bizarre.
Yeah, this definitely feels to me like a leftover breakfast kind of dish. Which I think that kind of falls into the idea of the carbonara having a bacon and egg American breakfast turned into an Italian pasta. And I think that then turning it back into a breakfast kind of brings it full circle.
This is Frank going off on a tangent. It's going to be okay.
It looks like got some pork jowl.
Guanciale is actually the jowls of the pig that are cured. Guanciale is salty, fatty, and it's traditionally what we use in carbonara.
Guanciale is one of those ingredients that it makes a big difference if you can get it. If you can't, you can substitute. You can get pancetta. You can also use bacon if you have to use it. But getting the pig cheeks or the actual guanciale and cured, it makes a big difference.
I like to...
Back at the restaurant, I usually normally use prosciutto or pancetta as a substitute, mostly because people in my area know what those are, and it's an easy sell.
to cut my guanciale into lardon, which is a French term for kind of thick matchsticks. I don't want it just to be a flavoring. I want it to be a nice component of the dish that gives you some like nice heartiness. I like to start with...
Yeah, so lardon is actually more than just that. Like back in the day when you had poor quality meat, there were two things you could do. You could lardon or bardin, or bardon. And bardon, you would use a sewing needle with fat strands attached to it, and then you would thread them through roasts to add fat. And lardin or lardon, you would wrap stuff in artificial fat to help with poorer quality, less fatty, less flavorful pieces of meat.
With just a little bit of olive oil in my pan, I'm going to throw those pieces of guanciale in there.
Wow, it smells so good already.
Render them out until they're just slightly brown on the outside, and we've got a lot of fat in the pan.
Now, me personally, when I use, say, the guanciale for carbonara, or even if I have to use lardons for anything else, I like to cook them to where they have still a bit of a soft center. So they're crispy on the outside, but you still have that soft center, because if you overcook them, you will have little pebbles. And it's fine. Some people like them like this, where the guanciale is actually harder. Me, no, because I like my teeth and I don't want to chip my teeth.
He's going to save the guanciale that's cooked, and he's saving the fat, because the fat's going in there too. Fat equals flavor.
I'm going to turn the heat off and move on to the next step.
Lorenzo gave me bacon. Carbonara needs to have some sort of pig product. Bacon works for me. I'm going to use a little olive oil just to start my bacon out. This is just a personal preference of mine. I'm just going to cut my bacon into nice strips. A little thicker, because I want to see the bacon in my dish. Right into my pan. I'm going to use everything. I'm using the bacon. I'm going to use the fat. I'm also going to use the pan.
Now, my only thing with using bacon for carbonara is that with the bacon, typically it's smoked. You can get unsmoked bacon, you can, but typically it is smoked. So this is going to add another flavor to the carbonara. If it matters a lot to you that it needs to be perfect, then you may want to be trying to get some guanciale if you can find it.
Move it to a cooler spot on my stove and just let it sit in the pan until we're ready to make this frittata.
Right, like I've got no problem with the bacon. Again, at the heart of the dish, bacon and eggs.
Okay, so I'm gonna start prepping my sauce, and I have these lovely chunks of cheese, Parmesan Reggiano, and this is the pecorino. I'm just gonna take a chunk off here. I'll probably need more, but for now, let's do that. Wow. Oh, that smelled. I'll get more in a second. Okay, this is the 24-month aged Parmesan. That is delicious. Mmm.
A 24-month Parmigiano Reggiano. This is a nice cheese. Or even the pecorino. I mean, they're stinky cheeses. They're good, but that smell I like because it means that the cheese has a lot of flavor.
Lorenzo
When I was a kid, I used to call it the stinky feet cheese.
sent me cream for this. Cream is not something that normally goes into carbonara. That creaminess comes from the technique, not from actually using milk product or cream in your dish.
Yeah, cream for a carbonara. Cream is cheating to make a carbonara. I mean, you can do it. However, there are many different types of pasta dishes, and one French pasta dish does involve creme fraiche, which I have made on my channel before, and I make at home, but it's not, at least to me, it's not carbonara. It's another dish, separate. So if there are any Italians watching, I clearly differentiate between the two. This, yes.
Yeah, it's common, and at least in my general area, that some restaurants will make fettuccine alfredo and put bacon in it and call it a carbonara.
What I decided to do is make a custard. That'll be the base of our frittata. I'm probably not going to use all this cream. I don't want it to stop my custard from setting. So I'm going to add about half right now. Nice couple of big pinches of salt. Lorenzo
Go a
sent me
little
pre-ground
heavier.
black pepper. I tend not to use this in my house. I find when you grind your own pepper, you get more fragrance, you get a little more heat. So I'm going to add a little extra black pepper just to give it a little like oomph, right?
That's a lot of black pepper, Frank. Even if it's pre-crushed, that's a lot. But this is true, and Frank is right about this, is that fresh, especially freshly cracked black pepper, is best. You get more flavor, more heat, and you don't lose that intensity that you do, or you can lose with pre-cracked black pepper.
Because Lorenzo was so generous with the cream, I'm going to make a garnish with it. This is going to be a savory black pepper whipped cream. You got to try it, right? We got to throw it out there. I'm going to season it up lightly. I want the sweet cream to kind of come through right here.
I feel like Frank's stretching a bit because it's such a basic dish and he got such basic ingredients.
You can see my cream is starting to bubble away. I'm going to shut it off, and I'm going to add a nice, generous helping of my black pepper. And I'm just going to let this steep for about 5 minutes.
Even more black pepper. Frank, take it easy on the black pepper, even though it's pre-grounded. Wow, that is a lot of black pepper.
I have a feeling James hasn't worked with a lot of smokers because a couple smokers I know have no taste buds, and they would think that that's perfectly acceptable.
We'll extract some of those black pepper flavors and some of the floral notes of the black pepper, as well as a little bit of heat. Let's get this strained out. If there's a few black pepper flecks in there, or if it has a little color in it, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Let's get this in the fridge and chill it completely.
Now, if you're going to be using a sieve to pass any sauce or any liquid, it is a better idea if you want to take out, say, like little black pepper particles, to use a fine mesh sieve or chinois, something that's super, super, super fine mesh. That way you can take out more than what this is. You can still take some stuff out, but, you know, it depends on the size.
I guess
You could also use some cheesecloth. You'd get it all out with cheesecloth.
I'm supposed to toast some peppercorns. Let's do about like a tablespoon or so. Let's see.
You're going to toast your peppercorns because when you toast them, it brings out some of those nice essential oils and makes them a little more fragrant and toasty.
Toasting black peppercorns can help bring out that flavor, and you can either use a pestle and mortar if you want to crush them, or if you buy a pepper mill, it's easier. You just put the peppercorns in the pepper mill and crush it, you know, however you want it, and use it when you want. That is a much easier method.
It's a really quick
I agree.
toast. We are gonna put this in. It smells fantastic, you guys.
My pepper-infused cream is completely chilled. I got myself a cold bowl. Let's whip it up. Just throw it in there. Make sure, like, if there's any sort of flecks in the bottom, if there's too many flecks, you can just leave them there. A whisk is meant to produce bubbles. So if I tilt my bowl like this, what do you see? Lots of bubbles, right?
The whole idea with a whisk, especially a fine wired whisk, is to incorporate air as quickly as possible. So you can do this by hand. It's going to take a little bit of elbow grease. Or if you have an actual stand mixer, then it'd be a lot faster.
It's almost like an up and over where you're seeing lots of air bubbles.
And the bigger bowls are easier. If you can get a big bowl, if you have the space for it in your house, like a 24-inch bowl, it'd go a lot faster too.
We're getting nice and fluffy. All right, I think we're there. Put my whisk in, form a peak. See how the peak points up? Firm peaks or stiff peaks. So our black pepper whipped cream is done. Let's put it in the fridge until we're ready to plate.
I'm curious to see how this is going to turn out. I'm very, very curious to see.
I'm just gonna add
No matter how it turns out, I guarantee he says it's delicious though.
half of this. I'll save a little bit later. I love adding more pepper to my carbonara. But let's go half for now. It's not even cooked yet, you guys, and it looks fantastic. Okay, really the next step is me getting the pasta cooking and putting the stuff together.
You know, I have to admit that I do like carbonara, but it's not my favorite dish. And it's a very popular dish, but like super popular. But for me personally, it's not my favorite. I have other dishes that I would say are my favorite. Well, pizza for one, I like a lot more. But I am surprised at how popular carbonara is.
Our peas and cheese are done. They've been in here for about 6 hours. Look at them. Look at those little nuggets of happiness. And let's check out the cheese. The cheese is a little drier. It still has a little bit of the fat to it. Now I have my peas. I really just want to kind of beat them up a little, and so they're not going to break anyone's teeth. I just want it to be a nice crunchy kind of bite at the end. Let's go right into this bowl. And here we have it, dehydrated peas and dehydrated cheese.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is not the first time that I've seen Frank in the videos with Epicurious, and I have to say that I think it would be very fun to have Frank as a teacher in school. The way that he makes a paella may be a little different from what I'm used to, but Frank is a very good teacher, and you're lucky to have him.
Yeah, and Frank adds a lot of passion to his food. A lot of theoretical knowledge too.
I'm presenting you my mise en place.
Mise en place.
Get your mise en place together.
Mise en place.
So mise en place is something that we use as a term in the kitchen. It's international. It's a French term, but it is international. I've used it in more than one country. So the mise en place can be your equipment, your mise en place. It can also be your setup, but it can also mean the mise en place, your ingredients to get your mise en place sorted. And if any of you are just starting in the kitchen, get used to hearing this term a lot, because the chefs will typically say mise en place, especially in the international kitchens.
Time to
And you don't want to sleaze another chef's mise. So, like, stay away from their setup. Like, some people get very territorial about their mise, and you don't want to interfere with it.
assemble our carbonara frittata. Say that 10 times fast. All right, let's get our custard in the bowl. I am going to add pasta. I don't think I'm going to use it all. Bacon with all the fat. Don't wash this pan. Put it aside just like this. Let's give this a stir. And then we're going to put in a nice helping of cheese.
I think I'll start with just 2 little nests of my fresh chitarra, because it's going to cook really quick. So I'm going to do it quickly, and I'm stirring right away as I burn my left hand.
The good thing about cooking fresh pasta is that it cooks in minutes, like just 2 to 3 minutes. And the other good thing with fresh pasta is that you can freeze it, and from frozen, it will cook in just a few minutes.
First restaurant I worked at used frozen egg pasta, and in our steam table we just had a water bath with, it's pretty common to use, there's these plastic circle dishes that go into commercial dishwashers for cutlery holders. It's pretty common to just use those inside of a hotel pan of hot water and drop your fresh pasta in. And because it's steam table temperature, like 62 Celsius, then basically it's going to take about 4 or 5 minutes. Can give your line cooks a little more time to work on finishing something or getting the plates together.
I'm going to put the pasta right in. It only took a couple minutes, guys. It's okay if I have a little bit of water in here because I'm going to add water, as a matter of fact.
I saved my pan that has all that nice bacon fat in it and try and even everything out. I want the pasta to be evenly dispersed so that when I cut into it, there's not just a super eggy part with no pasta. My pan was nice and hot. It's bubbling away. I'm going to get a nice crispy brown bottom. Let's get it in the oven.
Pasta in a tortilla, well, in a frittata. I don't know, to me it's bizarre.
Well, you've been away from America too long, my friend.
I'm not used to seeing it.
Let us throw our guanciale in and our rendered oil. Lovely, lovely. I'm just going to hold it and let it drip. I'm using all of it.
In case our sauce is a little too thick, we want to take a little of that seasoned pasta water and put it in just to make our sauce creamy.
Ooh, it's getting creamy.
One, you can even use, say, a bain-marie and actually temper the eggs. So you start the cooking process. You don't want to scramble them, but just to temper them a bit before adding the pasta in, and then it can be nice and velvety, the sauce. Or you can do it as Lorenzo has done here, where he just adds the hot pasta and the hot water to this, and then that starts the cooking process with the eggs.
I've got a video of my own. I'll put it up in the corner, whichever side it ends up on, and where I made a carbonara. And my method is a little bit different, but the end result is pretty decent.
It is that time to plate, guys. Oh my gosh. Ay caramba. Sorry. Eeks.
I'm going to do the old surgeon style cut. Drum roll, please.
Okay.
At that.
Look, oh my gosh, I'm so happy about this. The back is nice and crunchy. The pasta and the egg is holding everything together. The cream and everything got into the rigatoni.
If this was a Spanish tortilla, I would say that that is too overcooked.
I'm going to say this is a winner before I even finish it.
Remember, I said he was going to say it's delicious regardless. So we've got Frank, the professor there, saying that, this is going to be awesome. And we've got James saying, I don't know, it looks a little overcooked.
Clean it up in a minute. Pepper. I like adding pepper. And then, oh my gosh, why not? More cheese.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to take that black pepper cream and we're going to make a quenelle.
Oh, Frank's going to be making a quenelle.
Okay.
This is good.
I was taught the 2-spoon method. Shake them off, get your cream, and just kind of go and make your football shape. Just a little dollop right there.
Last but not least, let's make this ultra fancier and finish with some delicious, beautiful
Okay.
extra virgin olive oil.
Take some of our nice crunchy cheese, and then some of our nice dried out peas. And there you have it, carbonara frittata. I bet Lorenzo did just fine. It's getting harder and harder to stump him lately.
Lorenzo does do better in every single video that we've seen him cook. Like, seriously, he seems to improve. And some of these videos have been like sporadic, so they've been a little later, a little before, but in every single video, Lorenzo seems to do really good.
So this is my take on Chef Frank's pasta carbonara. From
Lorenzo's looks delicious, like it could be like a pasta of the month calendar.
the beautiful ingredients that were used, I don't think I could mess this up. Yeah, I'm curious what he did with
It looks
my
good.
ingredients, though.
Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad, not bad.
I think I've been watching too much Uncle Roger. I'm starting to imitate him.
Wow.
Yes, you are. I think that's how I discovered you, was watching you react to an Uncle Roger video, to be honest.
You are too fancy, man. What did you do?
Frittata carbonara.
I just want to try it. Is it okay I try it?
Yeah,
already?
try it. I'm not even going to use the knife. I'm just going to dig in because I'm a
Okay,
savage.
I just want to... That's fantastic. It does taste like you're eating carbonara in a different form
Yep.
of a bite.
It has all the elements. Has the flavor. Black pepper cream.
Yeah.
Steep some black pepper in heavy cream.
Ooh.
Like a tea. Let it cool, strain it out, whip it up.
You're good, man.
If any
So I think that Lorenzo's opinion is being pretty genuine. So maybe, James, maybe it's not overcooked.
Want to try mine?
Let's try yours,
All right.
please. The pasta is cooked perfectly. It's beautiful.
It has a very old European taste to it.
You hit it. I mean,
Yeah?
you hit it, right? So the sauce is creamy without any cream, right?
Yes.
And that's the whole idea. It's the cheese,
Yeah.
it's the fat, it's
Yeah.
the water. I do recall giving you something else. Just like the Italians, you sit down, you eat, you have a glass of wine.
Yes.
So let's do it.
And private friends, cheers to you.
Cheers.
That's a great way to end the video. That really is. Have a nice glass of wine and, well, enjoying what you made. Couldn't ask for anything else.
It is. Alright guys, that was me reacting to Chef James Makinson reacting to Epicurious making carbonara. So if you're liking these reaction videos, give me some feedback down below. If you watched it all the way to the end, thank you very much and I appreciate it. And we'll see you back next week.